Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus had a business idea for 3 years. 3 years, he talked about it at dinner tables. He mentioned it at family gatherings. He researched it at 1 a.m. when he couldn't sleep. He had notebooks full of plans, folders full of saved articles, a Pinterest board full of inspiration. He told everyone, "I'm almost ready, I just need a little more time." You know what Marcus is doing right now? The same thing. Still planning, still researching, still waiting to feel ready. And the person who started that same business 2 years ago with half the knowledge Marcus had, they just hit 6 figures. Now here's the part that stings. Marcus isn't lazy. Marcus isn't stupid. Marcus isn't unlucky. Marcus is you and me and every single person who has ever confused preparing with living. This video is not motivation. Motivation is temporary. This is a diagnosis, and some of it is going to be uncomfortable. Good. Uncomfortable is where change lives. Let's go. Here's the scene. It's a Tuesday night. You're lying in bed, phone in hand, and somewhere between the reels and the rabbit holes, a thought crosses your mind. I really need to start that thing. You know exactly what the thing is. The business, the channel, the book, the fitness journey, the conversation you keep avoiding, the life you keep promising yourself. And then your brain does something brilliant. It doesn't say no. It doesn't say you're scared. It doesn't say you're avoiding it. It says soon, almost. Not quite yet, but soon. And that sentence, that one sentence, has stolen more potential from more people than failure ever has. Because failure at least means you tried. Soon means nothing happened at all. Here's what the brain is actually doing in that moment. It's protecting you. Your brain is not your enemy, but it is deeply, expertly, professionally committed to keeping you comfortable. Anything that requires growth, anything that involves risk, anything that means being seen or judged or possibly failing, your brain files that under threat, and threats get neutralized. Not with a hard no, with a soft delay. You're not ready yet. The timing isn't right. Get a little more prepared first. These don't sound like fear. They sound like wisdom. That's the trap. You're not being cautious, you're being managed by your own mind. And the worst part, the goalpost keeps moving. You said you'd start when you had more money. You got more money. Then you needed more time. You cleared your schedule. Then you needed more confidence. And now you need better conditions. Let me ask you something directly. What would ready actually look like for you? Describe it. Specific. What would you need to have? What would you need to feel? What would need to be in place? Most people have never answered that question because the answer reveals the truth. Ready doesn't exist. It's a feeling your brain manufactures to keep you still, and you've been chasing it for months, maybe years. Now let's dismantle something you've believed your whole life. Motivation comes before action. You feel inspired, then you move. That's how it works, right? Wrong. Completely, scientifically backwards. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. I want you to remember a specific moment. You didn't want to go to the gym. You were tired, body felt heavy, brain was already building the case to stay home, but something made you go. Maybe guilt, maybe a friend, maybe the last remaining piece of self-respect you had that day. Whatever it was, you went. And 15 minutes in, something shifted. The music hit different. Your body woke up. The dread disappeared. That's not a coincidence. That's behavioral science. The moment you take action, any action, your brain receives a signal. We're doing this. And it stops generating resistance. It starts generating support. But it will not do this for you in advance. You have to earn the momentum by moving first. There's a writer named Steven Pressfield. He wrote a book called The War of Art. And in it, he describes something called the resistance, this invisible force that shows up every single time you try to do meaningful work. He says it's strongest right before you begin. Not in the middle, not near the end, right before you start. That low dread, that heavy feeling, that I don't want to do this, that's not a warning, that's confirmation. It means the thing matters. The things worth doing always feel hardest to begin. And here's what nobody tells you about people who seem naturally disciplined. They feel the resistance too, every morning. They just stopped waiting for it to go away before they moved. That's the entire difference. Not talent, not special motivation, not a better mindset. They just stopped negotiating with the feeling. Let me tell you about a girl I know. She's been working on a creative project for over a year. She's talented, genuinely. People who've seen small glimpses of it say it's good, but she won't release it. She keeps refining, keeps adjusting, keeps saying it's almost there. And when you really push her on it, when you strip away all the polished excuses, she says something quietly. What if I put it out and it's not as good as I think it is? There it is. That's the real conversation. It's not about the project, it's about what the project might reveal about her. This is something psychologists call self-handicapping. You engineer the conditions for failure before you start, so that if it doesn't work, you can blame the conditions, not yourself. I didn't really try. The timing wasn't right. I wasn't fully prepared. All of that can be true, and all of it is armor, because armor has one job: stop you from being seen. And you can't build anything real while you're hiding. Here's what happens the longer you wait. The standard rises. You've been thinking about this thing for so long, building it in your head, imagining the perfect version, that now it has to be extraordinary before you'll show it. You've turned a first attempt into a masterpiece in your mind, and a masterpiece is impossible to start, so you don't. Here's the truth that cuts. The first version of anything is not supposed to be good. It's supposed to exist. Existence is the achievement. Everything else is refinement, but you can't refine what you never started. Let's talk about the gap. You know the one. That feeling when you scroll past someone who's already built what you want. The body, the business, the following, the life, and something in your chest tightens. A mix of inspiration and shame, and a quiet voice that says, they must have had advantages I don't have. Sometimes that's true, but most of the time, they were just earlier. They started before the idea was perfect, before the timing was right, before they felt confident, before they had all the answers. They started ugly. They started scared. They started anyway. And while you were preparing, they were accumulating. Every day they showed up is a day of data you don't have. Every mistake they made is a lesson you haven't learned yet. Every failure they pushed through is confidence you haven't built. The gap is not talent. The gap is reps. And the only way to close a reps gap is to start getting reps. Not tomorrow. The person who started imperfectly 6 months ago is farther ahead than the person who's still designing the perfect plan. That's not inspiration, that's math. Here's the layer nobody goes deep enough on. Every day you don't start, you're casting a vote. Not for the life you want, for the identity you're reinforcing. You're becoming, slowly and quietly, the person who almost starts things. The person who plans beautifully and executes rarely. The person who knows what to do and doesn't do it. And once that identity locks in, it starts making your decisions for you. You stop attempting things because deep down you expect to disappoint yourself. You've done it enough times that your brain has filed the evidence. Unreliable. Not incapable, unreliable. And unreliable people don't bet on themselves because they already know how the story ends. So here's how you break it. Not with a big, dramatic change, with a small, kept promise. You say you'll drink more water, you drink it. You say you'll work for 20 minutes, you work for 20 minutes. You say you'll send the email, you send it. Small, boring, repeated. Every time you do what you said you'd do, you file new evidence. Reliable. And reliable people take bigger swings because they trust themselves to show up. James Clear puts it clearly. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. Build the identity first, one kept promise at a time. Enough diagnosis. Here's how you fix it tonight. Step 1. Make the first action embarrassingly small. I mean insultingly small. Whatever you think the first step is, cut it in half, then cut it again. Want to write? Don't write a page, open the document. That's the action. Cursor blinking, document open. Done. Want to train? Don't commit to a session, put your shoes on. Shoes on is the win. This sounds ridiculous, I know, but your brain resists big things. Big things feel like threats. A tiny action? There's no argument against it. And once you're in motion, the momentum follows. The goal of the first step is not progress, it's evidence. Evidence that you move.
Step 2. Set a timer, not a goal. Work until it's done is how you sit down, feel overwhelmed, and leave. Work for 20 minutes is how you actually work. 20 minutes is not threatening. Your brain agrees to 20 minutes. Set it. Sit down. Work until it goes off. Most times you won't stop at 20 because the resistance is gone the moment you start. But even if you stop, 20 minutes of real work is 20 minutes more than 0. And 0 is where you've been living. Step 3. Decide the mood doesn't vote. Read that again. The mood does not vote. You are not always going to feel like doing the work. Accept that as permanent. The people building real things don't do it because they always feel great. They do it because they decided the work doesn't require a feeling. You acknowledge it. I don't feel like this today. And you do it anyway. That's not intensity. That's discipline. And discipline is just a decision made so many times that it stops being a decision. Step 4. Stop watching their highlight reel and calling it a comparison. When you see someone who's already built what you want, you're watching the edited version of years of private, unglamorous work. You're not seeing the terrible first attempt, the awful early content, the version of them lying in bed at midnight thinking, what if I'm not good enough? They had that moment, every single one of them. They just kept going. Your beginning will look nothing like their middle. That's not a disadvantage. That's just where you are. And where you are right now is the only valid starting point you have. Let me come back to Marcus. I told you about him at the start. 3 years of planning, notebooks full of ideas, 0 action. Here's what I didn't tell you. There was a night Marcus almost started. Everything was set up. Laptop open, notes organized, energy actually there for once. And he sat there for 40 minutes. Just sat. Then closed the laptop and told himself he'd do it tomorrow. He didn't. And what Marcus couldn't see in that moment, what none of us can see when we're in it, is that the cost of not starting isn't just lost time. It's identity erosion. Every time you choose the delay, you become someone who delays. Quietly, gradually, permanently. Until one day you realize you don't even remember the last time you bet on yourself. I'm not telling you this to hurt you. I'm telling you this because it's reversible. Right now. Tonight. Not with a plan, not with a resolution, with one action. One small, imperfect, embarrassingly tiny action toward the thing you've been delaying. You don't need to finish it. You don't need to be good at it. You just need to prove to yourself that you move. Because the version of you that starts tonight, even badly, is already different from the version of you that closes this video and waits for tomorrow. One of them is building evidence. The other is still collecting excuses. You already know which one you've been. The only question left is which one are you choosing right now? Drop it in the comments. What's the one thing you're starting tonight? Not planning, starting. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to join the community of action takers.